Can I now have our candidates for Atlantic City at-large council join me here in these chairs? And while they're coming up, I will announce that we have Councilwoman Stephanie Marshall, Mohammed Akbar Hussein, Stephen L. Young, Andra Kimber Williams, Councilwoman at Large Patricia Bailey, and Mohammed Suhail Ahmed. Awesome. So I'm going to start with you, Councilwoman Marshall. You want to come up to in 1 minute, 2 minutes of opening remarks, and then I will engage in some questions in a minute to close. Is that okay? So I'm going to work on that for you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the NAACP and Asbury for putting this on. We greatly appreciate it. It's so important to get the information out there, and this is a perfect platform for you to meet the candidates. My name is Stephanie Marshall. I'm born and raised here in Atlantic City. Went to Atlantic City Public Schools, went to college at Atlantic Cape Community College, graduated from there, went to Kane University in North Jersey, where I received a degree in finance with a concentration in African studies. One thing that college taught me was to come home and be active in your community. So that was the first thing I did upon graduating from college. I came home, I joined the NAACP and became a youth advisor. And I've been active in the community ever since, working on campaigns for the last 20 years, serving on the Atlantic City Housing Authority, and now being on City Council. I paid my dues here in the city. I'm active in my civic association, which is the First Ward Civic Association, as well as Bungalow Park. I also own a home here in the great city of Atlantic City. I purchased my home a little over 20 years ago. If you vote for Team Small, myself and my running mates, we will continue to fight. I will continue to be active and showing up in the community and not just showing up when it's time for my vote. I'm very active in the community. Most people do see me out there. If you're out there, you definitely see me. And so I greatly appreciate it and hope everyone come out on June 10th and vote.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Something that I'm passionate about is jobs and securing jobs for not only our community, but specifically in Atlantic City. Now, as a city councilwoman and someone who's running for re-election, what would you do to not only secure jobs, but even new businesses to come to the city of Atlantic City?
Well, I will start with the budget. The budget is very important when you invest in your seniors and you invest in the youth. The two largest employees in Atlantic City are the casinos and the hospital, and we need to look for other avenues. In the budgets, in the mayor's budget is the small business. Actually, we spoke about earlier where he's the assistant director to get more people to open up businesses, and that's what you need. You have to partner with the private sector so that they are willing to invest in Atlantic City. And when they open up businesses in Atlantic City, that will bring jobs. We can no longer depend on the hospital or mainly the casinos to bring jobs into Atlantic City. We definitely need more small businesses. We have the Orange Loop that's opened up, that's small businesses, that's private funding. We have to make sure our streets are safe and clean, which we have a great job of doing that in Atlantic City. And as long as we continue to do that, people will be willing to come into Atlantic City and invest in their go-see jobs.
Thank you. Switching it up a little bit, what is your opinion of the city's curfew sign?
That I leave up to the chief of police. It's important to, I may not necessarily, as a kid growing up here in Atlantic City, I'm very familiar with the siren. And so that's an area where I don't give my personal thought or how I feel. Do I like it? No, I don't. But I do know it's necessary. And I listen to the experts, starting with the chief of police, hear what the administration have to say. If they feel there's a need for it, then there you go. I'm not an expert in that. I don't know that kids should be home by 9:30 because after 9:30 they're more likely to maybe commit crime or be involved in something maybe they should not be. So if the chief of police says that the sirens need to be municipalities so that they can keep their fire and police and continue to clean the streets. In education, I work for the Atlantic City Board of Education. I'm the bookkeeper there. That funding goes to salaries. It goes to help educate the students. We all know that during COVID, when the children were home, it was a difficult situation, and our children are falling behind. So with the school district, that money is going into more of education, more one-on-one. With a municipality, it's you really have to look and see what you can do, but it definitely goes to, and I say that in the sense that when it's grant funding, you have to purchase specifically what it's for, and it goes towards salaries for police and fire, and also the mayor's scholarship program that helps support children in Atlantic City to go to college. If you apply, you can receive $10,000.
Thank you so much. And 1 minute, would you mind giving us your closing remarks?
Well, I want to say it's great to be here. Like I said, I started out with the NAACP. I have a lot of respect for the NAACP, and having a minor in African Studies, I learned so much and how important it is to come home and be engaged. I want to say I worked for the City of Atlantic City as an accountant. I worked in healthcare as a finance director. I worked for the Atlantic City Board of Education. I did payroll, and I also did bookkeeping. I understand finance, procurement, budgeting, and that is extremely important to understand. I understand grants. I understand how it all works. And so I ask that you support me. That is the experience I will continue to bring to City Council. And June 10th, if you could please vote Team Small, Mayor Small, and myself, Stephanie Marshall, my running mates, Pat Bailey, and Suai Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, candidate Andra Kimbrough Williams for Council at Large.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. First of all, I just want to say I thank God that we live in a democracy and not a dictatorship, because everyone has an opportunity to vote for who they want to, and everyone has an opportunity to run if they feel they have something to offer the people. I want to be mindful and respectful of time, because when the timekeeper says it's my time, I'm going to sit down. So quickly about myself. I was born and raised here in Atlantic City, in the Inlet. My family started at 917 Virginia Place, if any old timers know where that was. We ended up in the Inlet on Folsom Avenue, and we now have a home on New Jersey Avenue from down the street, across the street from my best friend. I have two daughters who were raised in Atlantic City. We were flooded out, and we ended up living in Mays Landing for several years. But our roots are here in Atlantic City. And I want to say that I've seen the ups and the downs of Atlantic City. The streets, as they say, are clean. I beg to differ, depending on where you walk. Suitable housing, I beg to differ. We have too many lots. When you live in an apartment on Atlantic Avenue paying $2,400 a month, and you look outside of your window and all you see are homeless and alcoholics and drug addicts, I don't think that's suitable housing or sustainable housing for Atlantic City. I don't think that that represents a clean Atlantic City. I don't think that represents a safe Atlantic City. I think there's a lot more that we can do, and I'm not negating what has been done. I'm just saying a new perspective, new ideas is what we need here in Atlantic City.
Thank you. And can you talk to us about, let me hear your applause.
Thank you.
Can you talk to us about transferable skills that you would bring to the city council position from previous professional and community organizations?
Okay. Little do people know of me, I was formerly the president of the Bungalow Park Civic Association. I am presently a member of the zoning board. I attend city staff regularly. I attend council meetings as often as I can. I have a degree in business administration. I'm a member of Community Baptist Church. I worked for IHD. I worked for the welfare department. I was a person from welfare to work when that law came out. So I have a vast number of skills that I don't talk about because I don't talk about myself. I'd rather people see my actions than to hear what I have to say. And if the city residents can see my actions and not just hear words, I think I've done what I need to do to get their trust.
So in that same vein, and I apologize, we're working on mics, but in that same vein, how will you plan to engage with the diverse neighborhoods that you mentioned throughout the city in an at-large member and council position?
Well, I believe I'm doing that now. I don't drive wherever I go throughout the city. I moved back to Atlantic City. I lived in Texas for 10 years, just so you know. And I came back because I got tired of driving. I wanted to be in an area where I can engage with people by walking, by using public transportation. And I travel from the inlet to Albany Avenue often. So I get a chance to engage with everyone in every community. And I listen to what they have to say and try to do my best to take these issues to the city staff meetings. They don't have to live in my neighborhood for me to voice what their concerns are.
Thank you. And with a minute, do you mind sharing some closing remarks?
Well, I got the opportunity to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm not going to sit up here and rah-rah. People know who they trust and who they want to vote for. I'm not going to stand up here and say that I'm better than Ms. Bailey or Ms. Marshall. We all have our own diverse and separate skills that we have to offer. We have our own ideas. And as our team represents, clean, safe streets Atlantic City does not have. I live on a street that I can tell you I complain about at every city staff meeting. So what we stand for is to have sustainable housing. When our seniors cannot go to a pharmacy because they've all closed, that's not safe because our seniors are not able to get medication to keep them healthy. When streets are empty but they filled with addicts, they're not safe because they don't operate and go on Atlantic Avenue or any other place in the city. Thank you again, thank you for having us, and I appreciate you listening.
So next we will have current councilwoman, Ms. Patricia. You can talk.
Good evening, and I too, like everyone else, want to thank the NAACP as well as this lovely church which my husband's family came from for this opportunity. My name is Patricia Bailey, and I've been living in Atlantic City for about 55 years or more. I'm married. I have had 3 children, and been married to the same man for over 50 years. So that shows you how to Mr. Bailey. But anyway, I presently stand before you seeking your vote for Councilor at Large. I stand in that position now. When Mr. Weeks left that position by vote, I was placed in the position. But before that, I started doing service from the standpoint of a mother first, things like the PTA. Then from that, a previous mayor, Mayor Jim Whalen, appointed me to the library board. And that's where I really got my servicing start, of service community in Atlantic City. I was president of the Atlantic City Free Public Library Board. From there, I became a member for 5 years of the MUA, which is the Atlantic City Municipal Utilities Board. And from that, I went to the Atlantic City Board of Education, where I served for 13 years because I'm committed. I'm committed to, first of all, my neighborhood, but once I start something, I want to not only see it through, but I want to make sure that it's better when I walk away from it.
And so for 5 years there, I served as the board president. For 3 years, I served as the board vice president. During that time, I worked with everyone from so many different superintendents. But what I learned was bonding. What I learned was how to look at blueprints of schools that we built under my administration, which was the New Pennsylvania Avenue School, as well as Richmond Avenue School. And I got a chance to oversee all of that, to work with different individuals. See, administration and higher-ups are different. And no matter who it is you're working with, you have to learn to work with the person. So I just want to bring to you those years of commitment to the city and say that my time is up, and I thank you.
I apologize. With your extensive background, how will you ensure that development decisions that you will make will not displace people or put people in a more vulnerable situation?
That's a good question. I would say that we need to be more conscious of those development decisions. Now, we know we need development. I was the first one to say that. And in Longwood Park, we recently, a few years ago, we got a building. It's not being used now, but we wanted to go to the community to make sure it was what they wanted. And so therefore, my first thing would be dealing with the community from a standpoint to make sure that the development that we put out there is something that's acceptable. It's called communication. Our president, Randolph, says it all the time. We have to communicate with the community. So by going into the community and finding out those things, making sure that the development, whether it be a grant program, whether it be initiatives that the governor set up, whatever, that those developments make a cohesiveness with the city and not just be there for the tourists. So that's pretty much the way I would do it, a collaboration with the community.
And what will you propose to bring new businesses to Atlantic City, as Councilwoman Marshall stated earlier, to bring also jobs, reasonable jobs that give people a living wage and not something that just keeps them busy?
We don't want to do something that just keeps them busy. I will say this, if you guys remember recently, the mayor signed off on a program which allowed a small company to come in and do driver training for CDLs. It's located it's still located at the airport at Baker Field. And so those kind of things, entrepreneurship creates jobs. As Ms. Marshall's already said, anything that's going to be new, we can't keep depending on the casinos, we can't keep depending on the hospital. We have to do training programs, we have to do training our people that there are other things out there to do. And you do that by creating, Atlantic City has the best grant program in the world. So we create grants for just about everything. So therefore, if there's a small business that wants to do something in Atlantic City, there's a grant program that can support them. So I'm just going to say, by creating more programs through no money, no tax money, at 1 second, no tax money, but grant programs in order to have more entrepreneurship developed in Atlantic City.
And that's a great segue to
My
my
final question to you as to how you will use or prioritize the federal relief dollars from the American Rescue Plan.
Well, as Councilwoman Marshall just said, that money is designated funds. I learned that through the school district. And you just can't do what you want to do with designated funds. But within the realm of those designated funds, there's always movement. It's a flow to that. So even though it may be designated for roads and bridges, there within that designation may be some other areas in which you can push that money to. So once one is educated with just what the fund is and what money goes behind that fund, you'll find that there's a birth and a width of ways to use it within the framework that it came in.
Thank you. And with 1 minute, would you like to share some closing remarks?
Closing remarks. 1 minute, 1 minute. So for 1 minute, I'll say to you, I love Atlantic City. Been living here for a long time. I raised 3 children in Atlantic City successfully. They went off to college. And so therefore, I know Atlantic City has a lot to offer. Well, people believe that Atlantic City is dirty and unsafe. Everybody has their own vision. Everybody has their own interpretation. I don't feel afraid walking to Atlantic City. If I leave Longwood Park and decide I want to walk to Atlantic Avenue, I'm not holding my pocket tight and I'm not looking over my shoulder because I feel safe in Atlantic City. All that's been done in this last 4 to 6 years of administration has been to better Atlantic City. And do I see it better? I see it better. Am I going to go anywhere? No. Got a call the other day. offered me 3 times what my house was worth 2 years ago. 3 times, y'all, and 2 years ago it was worth $200,000. I'm not going anywhere because I love Atlantic City, and I think Atlantic City loves me, and I have more to give. Thank you.
Next, we're going to bring up Muhammad Akbar Hussein. And as you know, 2 minutes of opening remarks.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Korean, Councilman and NCP to inviting us here. And my name is Mohammed Akbar Hussain, and I got in Bangladesh, and I've been living this city last 27 years. And I'm an IT administrator as well as an accountant. And I have 3 kids with a wonderful wife. My daughter, she's a sister of her cybersecurity job last 2 weeks. And I'm planning to serve for Atlantic City this month. This is the first time I'm serving, running for any public office. So if I get the opportunity, I'll try my best.
Thank you. And continuing the same vein of economic development, how will you plan to engage communities in partnership with economic development and the city?
Thank you. I've been working 2 different specific areas. The one was the accounting department, and another one was IT department. And that's IT department. I trained almost 150 people, and out of 150 is more than 100 people get the job, and they have been serving whole United States. So, as an IT person, I can tell you, if I get the opportunity, I will bring more upper class level job, and I'll create the opportunity so that our kids, they don't run away from this area to Philly or New York City. So we are going to have a better economic plan which will bring business, which will bring all IT and other areas.
Thank you. And what do you see as the pressing issue facing Atlantic City, and how would you address it?
Atlantic City, our team slogan is safe clean street. So right now, our city is not safe. Especially, I can tell you, if they don't know what to pay, this area anymore, they like to stay home because they don't feel safe. I have an example. My son, who had someone attacked him last October, and I have an opportunity to talk different department, and till now I can tell you nothing happened. There was 5 kids was playing Texas Avenue school area and that part, but still nobody took care of it. And I also told one of police officer, so why is everything is happening right now? It should be whole year. Every year should be taking care of our city. All the kids has to be safe, and street has to be clean, but it's not.
Thank you. And then finally, how will you make sure that your economic development planning does not leave anyone behind, especially those vulnerable communities of color in Atlantic City?
I've been working since I've been living this area. I've been working with my South Asian community as well as other community as well. And I see what they're saying, I see what kind of problem they're facing. And based on that, I will bring all the resources, if I get the opportunity, and make this Atlantic City best place to live for every one of us.
Thank you. And then with 1 minute, you can share closing remarks.
I got a great team here, and this team is trying to make this city one of the best cities in the United States. Safe, clean street. That will be our slogan, and we'll do it, and we're working on it, and I think we'll be able to finish our job once we are elected. And I like to to help the city to make it a better city for every one of us. Now is not a better city for every one of us. We will make the city great. Thank you.
Next, we will have candidate Stephen L. Young, Council at Large. Yes, sir.
First, give honor to God. I want to say peace, Assalamu alaikum, and shalom. And Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses, what they had in common? They were all public servants amongst the community. The public service is what politicians are supposed to be. Working for the community. I've been that, and will continue to be that service. I want to say thank you to the NAACP. I know how it feels to sit there and be there on the street, fighting for people's rights, whether it's civil or human rights, whether it's housing, whether it's our youth. I have continued to do that today, and I have a lot of receipts to back that up. So go by the receipts that's been made by the accomplishments, and I'm speaking up for the voices throughout this community. Because it's from Washington all the way to Atlantic City, you're going to need a strong voice. Steve Young would need that strong voice in a peaceful, nice way. I'm a peacekeeper, as well as I have been on the Housing Authority, as well as I was on the Planning Department. And as on the Planning Department of Atlantic City, I was put there by 3 mayors, Don Gotti, Lorenzo Langford, and Frank Gee. So they had enough confidence in me being able to plan something for the entire community. I would like to make that real by being a legislator at this time. And when it comes to Atlantic City, we must get our city back. The city takeover is real. We in debt, and the state is under control under the Municipal Stabilization Recovery Act. How can we get it back? We got to bring some revenue here. But we got to let them know. Those luxury taxes that go, the things that go out, we must be going up the train and let them know that money needs to stay here. We must be going to Washington and let them know the money needs to stay here. And when it comes to maintaining our housing, that's a very serious issue because all the residents live in some type of housing. And it needs to be decent and maintained. That's why. If you want to keep helping people come here and stay here, maintain what you got. And it's going to take a whole community to do that. Thank you, I'm Steve Young.
Thank you, and that's a good segue into the next question as to what would you do as a councilman to attract businesses, to fight back the narrative that people outside the city maybe talk about. So what would you do to create a good narrative to keep people here?
But to keep people here, you know, people want to know what they have in common to bring them. Housing is key. Is it affordable? Market rate is what they talk about. But the market is bringing right now, you cannot afford. That has been proven on and on again. So we need the type of affordable housing that whatever you make in a week, that's what your monthly mortgage should be or your rent should be. Therefore, you got the rest of the month to argue with the rest of your bills and to negotiate with everybody so you can have an affordable life. And also, it's very important, our future is our children. If they don't see no future, you see what you got now. How can we improve that? We got to lead by example. And you have to be out there in the street in order to do that. And don't be scared of it.
Thank you. The NAACP, we focus on many things, and the one particular thing we've been focusing on in Atlantic City is health equity. Increasing life expectancy. As we know, your zip code can determine your life expectancy. What are some things you would do to improve the health outcomes of the residents of Atlantic City?
Well, I was first going to start with the Atlantic City Housing Authority and the people in Stanley Homes Village. And the people on Section 8 is in deplorable housing right now. Living in mold, mildew, and lack of maintenance. Because that destroys your health for our children and our seniors in these type of buildings. So we got to learn, and we have to start advocating for more maintenance in our facilities that we have today. Our health is very important. Right now, you can't even be born in Atlantic City. There's no maternity ward. You can't die here either because there's no cemetery. But those are some things that we could be working on together, but a lot of people on the outside don't know. In order to do that, we have to tell the truth and be transparent of what's here, what's good, and what can you bring here to make Atlantic City better.
Thank you. And then final question. How would you plan to work with City Council to make sure that the vision of economic development, good health outcomes, and prosperity is the priority?
Well, first, we have to be real the way it is, the way it has been for years. Certain people, they will stay in a certain lane towards getting things done. We got to be more inclusive. In order to be more inclusive, we got to listen to the people that's been hurt the most. The people that's hurt the most have the solutions. That's why I've been at the council meeting so many times saying, giving recommendations and solutions to things. Because I'm in touch with the people that's been hurt the most. So I think the way you can do that economically and everything else, we have to be in touch with the people. And you have to walk the street, you got to include them, because inclusion is transparency. And that brings about solutions to the problems we have. Because we all about solutions right now.
Thank you. And with 1 minute, closing remarks.
Again, why run this time? Now's the time. And people see hope. There was a young lady, there was an older lady, she asked me, she said, why don't you run? Matter of fact, she said, why don't you run for mayor? I said, no, not right now. But she said, why don't you run? Because you've been doing the works of a public servant already. So she said, we see hope in you. That word hope is what changed me and got me the reason to run and be there with other council people. And we can share each other, brother, no matter who wins, we got to work together to build Atlantic City a better place. In order to do that, we got to communicate, no hold, no grudges for a lifetime. Those grudges have put and left Atlantic City down. But Atlantic City, the A stands for all, and the C stands for cousins. We all in this together, everybody. In order to do that, we can't hold no grudges for a lifetime. You got a problem with somebody? Talk it out. When I come to people, I will talk to them. I say, what the problem you have with me so I can make me a better person? So that's what I was doing, and I would like to see as a council.
Thank you.